Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994 I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. During those times, I accumulated some good stories, and I'm gonna drop a story on y'all today. If you happen to like this story, definitely be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and most importantly, be sure to hit that notification bell. That way, anytime I drop a story, you will be notified ASAP, and you can hop on it whenever you're ready. Now, unfortunately, man, earlier today, I got some extremely sad, disappointing news for myself, man. A good friend of mine by the name of Little Steve-O from the California Gardens passed away, man. So I'm going to do this story in honor of him. Actually, I done a story involving him about 5 or 6 months ago, and the name of that story was called The Bloods Want That TV. He was a good dude, man. I met him in the penitentiary. I ran across him 2 or 3 different times. He was a real good, solid dude. We got out, kicked it together a bunch of times. We would go to have breakfast. I just talked to him a couple of days ago. Like I say, he passed away today, man. So rest in peace. Now let's hop right up into this story. Now, like I was telling y'all, man, where I left off, I had finally talked Shy into giving me one of those knives. Now, like I said, one knife was extremely sharp. It had a major sharp point on it, and it was built like something that would be in your kitchen. The other knife, they had messed up on it, and it was sharp. It had a tip on it, but it hooked around kind of like the top of a cane or like a candy cane. And then the sharp point was at the end of the tip of the candy cane. Like I say, he wasn't willing to give me that other good sharp one, so he gave me the candy cane shaped one. So I had to take whatever he was gonna give me at that point, because it definitely was bigger and seemed heavier and deadlier than mine. And like I said, I wanted to put in a decent amount of work on this dude, maim him, immobilize him, most definitely. And so me and D-Dog, we sitting there, we in B section at the table talking. Now, maybe about 10-15 feet away in C section, Big Russ is standing over there with maybe 15-20 dudes from up north. Now, to their credit, a lot of those dudes from up north was telling him, hey man, you wrong, because like I told y'all also, Tay from East Palo Alto, when I went to go mail my legal mail, he came and said, hey man, listen, give me that soap. Here's $1 worth of soups. He was just trying to alleviate the problem. Me and him was kind of cool too. So, and even though Russ took the soups, he still was tripping. So, which led me to believe later on, he definitely had a problem with me. Now, maybe about 10 or 15 feet away from the up north brothers, it was a gang of Crips who was huddled up from the south. Had my back, like, chill, what's up, man? You want to rush this dude? You want to get it cracking? But I told him, no, man, I don't want nobody to get involved. It's just me and him. The dude tried to slap me. I definitely want to get him personally and by myself. Unbeknownst to them, though, I had went and secured that thing, that Kisu, the Pistola, Banky Pound call it the Bethlehem. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I had went and secured that, and now I'm ready to rock and roll. Now, like I said, the police in his office, he can just stare out the window, look to the front. He'll see B section, look a little to the left. He'll see C section where we was at. So it was almost time for us to lock up anyway. So he got on the mic and made an announcement, man. Everybody lock up. Everybody report back to their bunks. Now, when he done this, D-Dog from 111, which was my partner, me and him was real cool. We played Scrabble, chess, pinochle. He stood up and did something that was game goofy at his finest. He said, hey, chill, what's going on, man, with this situation? You told me earlier you wasn't comfortable with locking up in the same section with him. Now, I had told him earlier, yeah, man, listen, I'm not comfortable. I want to get this dude right now. Hurry up, tell Shy to give me that thing so I can lay this dude down. Because like I said, when we have to lock it up, now they close the big old giant grill gate and you stuck on that side. So, but, excuse me. But, I had, told him that in confidence. I was assuming. I didn't expect that he was going to put me on blast and wake everybody up, including the boy Russ too. So now I had to go to a quick, another plan. So as I'm walking inside the C-section day room, it's a water fountain right to my right. I say, man, you know what? I got a headache, man. I ain't even tripping, man. Just tell dude to stay away from me. I'll stay away from him. So then I went to the water fountain and bent over like I was getting a drink. but I'm looking out the peripheral of my eye, watching Russ. Now, as I'm getting a drink, he turned around and started talking to his partners or whatever. So now I dig in my pocket. I got on my sweats. I pull that thing out. Now I'm getting ready to run up on him. I'm turning. As I'm doing so, Pizzo happened to see me. Pizzo say, "Oh, come on, chill." But at that point in time, it's too late. I run up on him. Bam! Hit him as hard as I could in the neck. Then he turned around and grabbed his neck. Now, when he turned around, the look he gave me to this day, I still can't explain, man. It was a look of respect. It was also a look of like fear and admiration. Like he didn't believe that I would do that to him. So when I hit him, now all his partners that was standing right there, they get in the wind. They scatter. They left, right. They running up out of there. Now, upon seeing this, like I say, I find out a little bit later, the CO is watching all this. He hopped back on the mic. Get down, everybody get down. So now when he say this, I run out, because they hadn't locked us in the grill gate yet. I run out of C section, back into B section. I run all the way through B section. I run in A section. I run upstairs. I run down the hall, go to the bathroom, flush the thing down the toilet. Then I run back down the hall and I prone out right in front of Rabbit from Palm and Oak and Blues bunk. They happen to be side by side. So Rabbit like, "Hey, chill, what's going on?" I said, "Yeah, I just got old boy, homie. Just blasted him. You know what I'm saying? Laid him down." So he like, "Okay, yeah, that's what's up." So now about a minute or two later, you got a gang of COs. They run up in there. About another minute or two later, they running Big Russ out. He got like a towel or a t-shirt on his neck. It's covered in blood. He getting up out of there, So now they sitting over there about 10, 15 minutes. They doing whatever they doing. Then eventually they tell everybody to go recall to your bed area. They start calling everybody by sections, A section, B section. When they say report to C section, if you're not in the correct section, I walk down the stairs. I'm going out the door. The CO that work up in there, he said, "Him." Yeah, that's him right there. So they tell me to turn around. They cuff me up. So they take me to the sergeant's office, lieutenant's office, something like that, So I'm sitting up in there a couple of minutes. A sergeant come up in there, a lieutenant, one of them. He said, "Hey, man, what's going on, man? What happened up in there?" I said, "Man, I don't know." I said, "Whatever happened, what happened on A side? Y'all see me walk up out of C section, right? I was on C section. Besides that, I don't know nothing, and I don't got nothing to say." He said, "Okay." A few minutes later, he had another CO escort me down to the MTA, which is basically just the nurse's office. Then they had me stripped, take off everything except for my boxers, and they did a body check. They got a nurse there. She got a little clipboard, and on the clipboard is like, a male body. And in the event you got a mark on your arm or wherever, she marks it on that piece of paper, wherever the mark is at. She indicates it. Fortunately for me, I didn't have any marks because they would use that to go along with the incident report. So I didn't have any marks on me or whatever. So now they put me in the cage. The cage is basically like a phone booth with a mesh like metal wire around it basically. So I'm up in there now, barefooted and stuff, just up in there chilling. I'm not handcuffed, So I'm up in there maybe about an hour and 15 minutes. Then finally a CO come, tells me to turn around and cuff up. I'm going to the hole. I say, "Okay, man, but listen, I need some shoes." Because now when he's going to take me outside of the nurse's office and walk me to the hole, I got to walk along the track. They have a lot of seagulls up there. People be feeding the seagulls in the morning. They be doo-dooing all over the track and all over the place. Plus, you had a lot of COs chewing tobacco, spitting that tobacco on the ground. So it's no way I'm supposed to walk out there in my bare feet. So he telling me, "Oh, the walk is only 2 or 3 minutes or whatever." I tell him, "Man, I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen, man. Go get me some shoes or come up in here and get me." Because the protocol is when you get caught up in an incident and you're in that cage or whatever, you have to be handcuffed and coming up out of there. So now as me and him is arguing, going back and forth, a sergeant come up in there. Sergeant asking what's going on. He tell him, "Hey, man, this dude is refusing to cuff up." So I said, "No, Sergeant, I need some shoes. I'm not just to be walking out there in that bird stuff and all that crap." So the sergeant tell him to go get me some shoes. So he go get me some flip-flops. So now when he come back, he's super mad. I guess he feeling that I done fronted him off or went over his head or whatever. You going to the hole. I tell him, "Man, I got life already. I ain't never going home. I don't want to hear that mess." You know what I'm saying? So he cuffed me up, starting to escort me out. Now, as I'm getting maybe 2 or 3 steps away from the door, I look up, I see 2 other guards. An old man by the name of Goswami, was probably about 60 years old, 5'7", 160 pounds at best, and another lady who appeared to be in her early 40s, maybe 5'5", 5'6", 145 pounds. They escorting Russ. Yeah, now he got a big old Band-Aid and stuff on his neck, and he ain't even handcuffed. They tell him to step up, get against the wall, put your hands up on the wall. So he put his hands up on the wall. So now I'm handcuffed, mind you. I'm thinking, damn, man, when I go outside, this dude is to boop, bop, beep, bop, boop. This dude is to bust me up. You know what I'm saying? So now when I go out, also, when I go out the door, the hole is to the left. So when I turn towards the left, you know, the CO that's escorting me, he snatched me. So I turned around. I said, hey, man, what the hell did you do? And I pull away from him. He tried to snatch me again. And when he snatched me toward him, I tried to hit him with my shoulder in the face. So then he tried to do a jiu-jitsu move, put his leg outside my leg so he can slam me down and trip me. I realized what he's doing. I stepped my leg outside of his leg to block it. But like I said, I'm handcuffed. So he snatches me, get the position again. This time he do the move and slam me to the ground. Bam! He slammed me to the ground. Now, all the while he's slamming me, like I said, Big Russ is up against the he's up against the wall. He's not handcuffed or nothing. Now, if he wanted to, he could have took the opportunity to smash me, dog me out. And this goes to what I said, man. Sometimes you run across individuals who have different mentalities. You know, you have some people who don't want to create any more trouble for themselves. They want to stay out the way. Had this dude been serious about his get down, he would have ran over there and beat the brakes up off me. It probably would have took another 7, 8 dudes to come stop him, and he probably would have whooped me for at least 2-3 minutes before they got over there. But I guess he didn't want to get himself in any trouble, you know, and so luckily for me. So when, like I said, when dude slammed me, now he's on top of me. I don't got on no shirt. I don't got on nothing but my boxers. So now I done turned around. I'm cussing, talking about his mama, all type of stuff. I'm trying to roll over. He didn't hit the alarm. Another lieutenant happens to run out the office, a black lieutenant. He tell him, hey, man, get up off him. I got him. So now he picked me up and he escort me into the office. Now they do the body check over me all again. Now to document, you know, my injuries. So now I'm thinking they fist to try to twist me and say that these injuries that I just received when he slammed me on the ground came from me getting into it the first time. So I told him, hey, man, listen, y'all already did a check on me, man. So make sure, you know, y'all have both of them in there and don't try to say this came from that and, you know, twist me up on some bull stuff. So I sit up in that office again, another 10-15 minutes. Another lieutenant came to talk to me. He said, hey, man, didn't nobody really see what happened? You beat that other stuff, man, but I just want to know what happened. I said, I don't know what you talking about. What you talking about? He said, oh, man, don't worry about it. You beat that other thing, man. I said, hey, I don't know what you're talking about, man. That stuff happened. I was on an entire different section. He said, well, yeah, anyway, don't worry about it, man. You beat it. You won't be getting a write-up for that. He said, but we will be sending you to the hole for resisting staff. I said, okay, whatever, you know. So they cuffed me up, took me to the hole. The next day, they called me out to see the captain. It's a different captain or whatever. Now he's asking me too, hey, man, what happened on my yard, man? Why'd you stab somebody on my yard? I'm telling him, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Keep in mind, this is a level 2. This is a minimum security. There are probably very few stickings on level 2s, period. And so he was extremely upset that I would, I guess, upset the tranquility or whatever, I don't know, on his yard. So he was in there talking big stuff to me. I'm steady denying it. You know, I don't know what's going on, man. So eventually he sent me back to my cell. Like I said, I'm only charged with resisting staff. I didn't beat that other thing. You know what I'm saying? So now eventually they give me a cellie, man. Now my cellie was a dude by the name of Hoover Mike. Hoover Mike happened to be from the 4-yard. Hoover Mike was the Mac rep over there. And what had happened is one day while they was outside having yard, 2 Hispanics got into a fight or whatever. So now once the COs went over there and got that situation under control, when they escorting and walking back, there happened to be this black Crip from San Diego or whatever. At some point, he had a knife on him. And when the COs was walking past him for whatever reason, he jump up and go to just stabbing him. So after they snatch him up, secure him or whatever, eventually they put the entire black population on lockdown, the Bloods and the Crips. So now, after about a month and a half, you know, now that the blacks are starting to complain like, hey, man, that was an isolated incident. Why you still got us on lockdown? So now my cellie Hoover Mike, he was a Mac rep. And so that's his job to, you know, try to get the situation handled, go back and talk to the administration, go back, talk to the convicts, let them know, hey, that's isolated. We wasn't tripping. We good to come out, man. And so but the administration, they wasn't budging. So now Mike was also extremely antagonistic and angry about authority anyway. He was angry. He had 175 years of life and he was mad about being in prison, period. So when he came back from the last meeting, he said, hey man, they not supposed to let us out. So we got to just band together and do what we gonna do. So maybe about an hour later, they came back and got him for trying to incite a riot. So he was sitting up in the hole for that. Now, every morning he'd wake up like 4 or 5 in the morning. He'd get up and go stand by the door, just breathing all loud. So about the 4th or 5th day, man, I said, hey man, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Did you see me over here asleep? Oh man, yeah, my bad. I'm miserable about being up in here, man. You know, he had, like I said, he was on his 3rd strike, man. He had been arguing with his girl. She had called the police on him 4 or 5 times. So I told him, man, you know, really, you should have been got up out of there. He originally was from Ohio and had moved to California. He had been in the army and everything. About the age of 24, he wants to start gangbanging and join the gang. You know what I'm saying? And so now also up in there, I had done some time before in Salinas Valley with some Northerners, but due to that was the first time me being at a prison and me just being fresh in prison, learning the ropes, I never really just got extremely tight with none of them or whatever, because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on and what's required of me. You know what I'm saying? And so now this time, they had some Northerners in the hole. They had got into a riot over there on the 2 yard with the Hispanics, the Southern Hispanics. So, you know, I'd never been around, you know, both them for any long periods of time that I can remember. Because like I said, initially I was young. I first got to the pen. I'm trying to figure out everything. So I was tripping on how cordial and friendly they was with each other, man. They wasn't hostile. They used to talk back and forth. And actually, my next door neighbor was a Southern Hispanic. He used to get a lot of magazines sent in. After he would send the magazines to all his homies, he would send the magazines down there to the Northerners and let them check them out. Actually, now the first week we get up in there, we was supposed to go to store. They had store. Me and my celly was unable to make it. So they sent the kite over there to us, my neighbors, the Southerners, asking us, hey man, you guys didn't make it to store. We got some soups for you. You need some chips. You need some crackers, cookies, whatever. We got you. You know, so I got back at him. Hey man, thank you. You know, because our door was extremely low or whatever. So I said, you know, man, thank you. I appreciate it, but we'll just wait till we get up in the store. But it was real respectful up there and real, you know, back there. It was extremely respectful and cool. You know what I'm saying? And so eventually I get cleared to go to the yard after being out there about 2 weeks. Like I said, man, I'm only back there for resisting staff. So now the yard actually ain't nothing but a dog kennel. It's like maybe, I don't know how the measurements of it, man. It might be 10 feet wide, 15 feet long or whatever, and only you and your celly are in there. Now, next door to you, they have other different people and stuff. I had some real cool neighbors up in there, man. They was named Muggsy and Vandal. I believe they was from Santa Paula. They was 2 cousins who had got validated as Mexican Mafia members, and they was both pretty young, and now they was getting ready to go to Pelican Bay to do an indeterminate shoot. There also was a dude up in there. I believe his name was Demon. He was from Compton CV70. He used to rap. It may have been Capone, but I believe it was Demon. He had seen me that day I got into it with Big Russ. He was telling me, yeah, chill, man. You was a smooth criminal. I seen when you ran to the bathroom and flushed your thing and came back and proned out, man. I was telling him, yeah, man, I beat it. Yeah, I beat that. So he was cool, too. So now one day I'm out there on the yard, a CO come back there. He like, hey man, who's Willis? I say, me, why, what's up? He say, hey man, I got some papers for you. So now he brings some papers to me. I had left my glasses in the cell, you know, so he brought some papers to me. Now I see like, damn, they have filed charges on me for this stabbing. And also they gave me a DA referral. A DA referral is basically the prison is referring that case to the district attorney of that county. And in the event he assumes that, or in the event he feels that he wants to charge you, you'll be going to the courts on the street, fighting that case as if you had caught a case on the street. So I'm like, damn, man, they trying to twist me. Like I said, I left my glasses in the cell, so I'm reading a little bit of the paper, and I see something that says that I saw the inmate swinging his hands in the manner consistent with striking someone. So I'm like, oh man, they didn't got me. You know, my heart beat. I'm like, oh man, they didn't twisted me up. So it's looking all bad for me, man. So once I get back to the cell, I get my glasses so I can read the paperwork in depth. And as I'm reading it, now I'm realizing, no, they don't got me at all. The only thing is saying, it was saying, the CO was saying he saw Russell swinging his fist consisted in a manner that he was striking someone. So what he probably really seen is when he spent around and tried to grab his neck. But he wrote, due to the large proximity, due to the large crowd of people standing around, I could not see who inmate Russell was attempting to strike. He said Willis was suspected as the perpetrator due to an explosive argument that I had witnessed earlier between him and Russell. So remember, I told y'all when he was paging Russell, telling him to come to the office, I guess he had seen us arguing or whatever, and was telling him to kick back. He may have even seen him try to slap me. He was a black CO, maybe wanted to be cool, didn't want to get us in no trouble. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he wrote up that he didn't see me doing anything. So normally when you get a 115 and a DA referral, most people will wait. You know, you have the option to postpone the 115. That's the your hearing of the 115 at prison until you deal with the situation going to court. Because if you get found guilty of the 115 in prison, then you have to go to trial. Of course, the DA is going to say the prison already found him guilty of this incident and it'll look worse on you. But by me feeling that they didn't have anything on me, I chose not to postpone my 115 hearing. Now, looking back on it, that was dumb, because in the event I had any confidential informants, I would have definitely been in trouble, you know, because like I said, level 2 is a minimum security, man. And a lot of people may think everybody in prison is with the business, but no, you got a huge percent who are definitely scary and don't want no trouble. And when they know it's somebody around that'll use that thing, they don't want you around. They'll drop kites telling you and everything. But due to the fact they came and got me immediately after it happened, those who may have been wanting to tell may have assumed I was already got, and they didn't tell. So for whatever reason, like I said, now I didn't read this paperwork, I'm feeling that I'm definitely finna to beat this. So now they came and they assigned me what's known as an IE, which is an investigative employee. And what that investigative employee does is gather all the information the person who's charged with the 115 may need or wants to use to try to defend himself against these charges. So I had a few partners, of course, back in the building, and either I knew a few of their names, or I asked in the written stuff that I was writing down for them to find out who they was, and I wrote out some questions. Did you see inmate Willis around on in the section of when Russell was attacked and assaulted? Of course they all said no. I asked my boy Rabbit from Palm and Oak when the incident occurred, wasn't I on when the incident occurred on A section? I was on, or excuse me, when the incident occurred in C section, was I next to you over there in A section? And of course he said yes. Now, what I also did, I also called in Big Russ as a witness. And the reason I did that is because it's going to be one or two things. Either you're going to keep it gangster and say I didn't do it, or you may tell on me. But if you tell on me, now I got the fact that you did tell on me, in because everything they ask him, they type on the question. So everything they ask him, they type his answer on the paperwork, and then they slide it back to me, and then I could use it in this incident, so yeah, either you're gonna tell or you're not gonna tell. It didn't matter to me, because like I said, I had life. I wasn't going nowhere anyway. You know what I'm saying? But now, to Big Russ's credit, he kept it gangster. When they asked him the question, was because I specifically wrote in the question, was I the one that stabbed you? Did you see me stab you? And he kept it real and said, no, it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shouts out to him. So now I'm sitting up in the hole, man. I'm waiting maybe about a month or two to have my my hearing on this 115. So finally they come get me. They escort me down there, man. Keep in mind, Corcoran was a notorious prison for dirty guards, man. If you guys are not familiar with the cage fights, how at one time they would let Hispanics and blacks on the same yard, knowing that they was rivals and they was gonna fight, and then they'd start fighting, and on different occasions they would shoot them with a mini 14 or whatever, and a few of them died and stuff, and they was betting on these dudes. So anyway, they still had some of these COs around from that. These COs was definitely notorious, man, for just being foul and unprofessional, to say the least. So anyway, when I go back there, it's a lieutenant for my hearing. The lieutenant asked the dude who escort me, he said, hey man, I just got one question. He's talking to the CO. Has this dude gave you any trouble while he's back there in my hole? And the CO looked, he said, well, Sarge, if you want me to be truthful, he hasn't given me any trouble. Then the lieutenant said, okay, I find you not guilty. He said, had you been back here giving my my COs any trouble, I was going to find you guilty and let you fight it and appeal it from the hole. I said, but damn, Lieutenant, you can clearly see that the CO was saying that he didn't see me do anything. I didn't have nothing to do with it. He said, it doesn't matter. He said, I don't give a damn. If you was back here acting up, I was going to find you guilty and you would have been in doing the shoe turn. I said, damn, you know, so they got me up, took me back, you know. So now I'm happy, man. You know, eventually I'm supposed to go back to my classification hearing. I'm getting ready to go back. I'm going back to the 2 yard. I'm going to be cool. Like I say, dudes know I'm with the business. I'm going to use that thing. I definitely didn't anticipate having any more problems, you know. Only thing now I got to wait for is to have my classification hearing, which is probably going to be maybe in 3 or 4 weeks. About a week later, though, they called me back to go to my classification hearing. The Northerners and the Southerners had gotten to a ride on the 2 yard and they needed extra space. So anybody that was due to being close to being kicked out, they was calling them back for a quick classification hearing and sending them back to the yard, man. So yeah, I was happy. You know, now when they taking me there, I heard one of the COs say, damn, man, the least they could have did is gave those dudes a fighting chance. He was talking about the Norteños. He was telling his partner, man, that they only had like 5 or 6 of them and it was a whole bunch of Southerners and the odds was extremely fair, man. You know, and he said them dudes, you know, they should have, talking about the administration, they should at least even the odds. So, you know, they're taking me back there to my classification. So when I get up in the classification, it's a captain, a lieutenant, it's a counselor, a CC2. A counselor is basically who we go to do to talk to about our program and our, you know, what's going on and what prison we may be getting shipped to, any type of issues we be having like that or whatever. A CC2 is the counselor's boss. So anyway, they in there talking, they discussing what I'm in there for, you know, what I was charged with. I was also found guilty of the resisting staff. So they talking about all that type of stuff. And so the lady tells me, okay, yeah, we're going to be sending him to the level 4, 180. I'm thinking, what? You know, because I only had, she said, because your points, I said, level, why are you sending me to the level 4? I came from the level 2. She said, well, your points are no longer conducive with level 2. So I said, but I don't even have level 4 points. You just said I got level 3 points. It was a gym there with a level 3 point. Well, she said, well, we're sending you to the level 4. Looks like you're just going to have to shut your mouth and roll with the big dogs. You know, that kind of made me mad, right? So I told her, I've been on a level 4 before. It's nothing. She said, well, yeah, hopefully you'll be all right then. And so, you know, they talked for a few minutes. They stood me up and walked me up out of there, man. So, you know, I definitely was like, damn, you know, it's on and cracking, man. I had worked my way down to a level 2. I get into it. Now I'm heading back to the level 4. I definitely did not want to go to the level 4. I'm just keeping it 100. It's because it's the serious nature of a level 4. I automatically knew as soon as I got back, I had to go make me a knife, get me a knife, secure me a knife. And then, you know, anything can happen, man. One thing about them level 4s, it might not be tomorrow. It might not be the next day. It might not be the next week. But eventually, something is going to blow up. You know what I'm saying? And so I knew that, man. So I was going to potentially go back because I know me, the type of person I am. I'm cool. I'm relaxed. But I'm not going for nothing. And so, you know, I could potentially go back, have to blast somebody, end up with a life without death penalty. I could go back and get killed, blasted, stabbed in a riot. So yeah, it definitely was real, man. You would have a lot of individuals who would act like being on a 4 didn't bother them, but a lot of them is faking, man. Those 4s was always extremely dangerous, you know. And so yeah, they took me back to the cell, man, and maybe about 3 or 4 weeks later, released me, maybe even a little sooner than that, back to the 4 yard. Now, like I said, man, I was found not guilty of the stabbing. And looking back on it now, one thing that saved us, and when I say us, I'm talking about me and Big Russ, was the way that knife was designed, man. Had Shy gave me that other thing, it would have been bad for both of us, you know. More than likely, he would have been laid down through with money, you know what I'm saying? No longer for this world, because that thing was extremely dangerous and sharp, and more than likely, I definitely would have got caught. You know, they would have handled that situation extremely different, and I would have had life without parole or death penalty, and I definitely wouldn't be sitting here today, man. But like I said, due to the thing, the way that it was kind of built like a candy cane, it acted more like a slashing weapon than an actual stabbing weapon. So when I tried to hit him, it more like just pulled back And he ended up getting like maybe, I don't think it was 13 or 15 stitches, somewhere like that, man. So like I say, now looking back on the situation, I'm definitely grateful that it played out like it did. Also, Big Russ, he kept it gangster. You know, he didn't tell. I think a lot of dudes possibly would have told on me, but all that comes with the territory, man. Next time, keep your hands to yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be all right. Anyway, y'all already know what it is, man. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.